at the requirements of an efficient gas exchange system. Now, the requirements of an efficient gas exchange system are met in different ways in different environments. Now, we're going to look at a few different organisms and how they then breathe. Okay, the first one we're going to look at is a dicotyledonous plant, the daisy. Now, the leaves have many stomata and the stem also has openings that is called lenticels, which are involved in gaseous exchange. Now, gases enter or leave mainly through these openings on the leaf. It has spongy mesophyll cells on the inside of the leaf that enlarges the surface area for gaseous exchange. Now, let's look at the earthworm. The entire body of the earthworm is used for gaseous exchange. So they do not need any special organs to exchange gases. It has a body with a high surface ratio. Now it uses diffusion across a very thin and moist permeable body. Now remember that when you look at an earthworm, you hold it in your hand, it's going to be slimy. And if you look carefully, you can see some of its internal organs. Now that is because it has a very thin skin. So oxygen diffuses into the skin's blood vessels and larger blood vessels transport it to the rest of the body. The skin is protected by mucus, which makes it slimy. Insects. Now, in terrestrial animals like the locust, the body is normally covered with chitin, which is waterproof and impermeable to gases. Now, with the locust, gaseous exchange takes place through a tracheal system. Now, as you can see there on the picture, you'll see the tracheal system there. Okay. And leaves the body through small openings that is called spiracles that is positioned on the abdomen and the thorax of locusts. Now, this tracheal system consists of a network of fine tubes which enlarge the surface area. Now, that branch then through the body. Now, these tracheas branched into smaller tracheoles. The walls of these trachea are then very, very thin to make the gaseous exchange happen a lot quicker. Now, gases move by diffusion across the moist lining of the tracheal walls to and from the body cells. Now, air sacs that function as ventilation systems are located near the muscles. As this tracheal system is inside the body, it's protected by the surrounding tissues. Now, let's look at the bonefish. Now, with fish, gaseous exchange takes place in the gills. Now, 4 gills are found in the gill chambers on either side of the head. Now, each gill is made up of 2 rows of filaments, which are composed of thin, flat plates that is called lamellae. Now, they have a rich supply of blood vessels. Now, as the fish swims through the water, water flows into the mouth and over the gill filaments. Now, it dissolves the oxygen in the water that diffuses then into the blood capillaries, and the carbon dioxide diffuses from the capillaries into the water. So the oxygen diffuses into the blood and the carbon dioxide diffuses then out. Now, the filaments are protected by gill covers. So here's a pretty picture to show you what the gills look like, and as you can see, there's 4 filaments there. Okay, now let's look at you, a mammal. Now, in you, in and me, gaseous exchange takes place in the lungs. Now, the gaseous exchange surface consists of millions of small little alveoli, which increase the surface area numerously. Now, alveoli looks like tiny little broccoli. Now, the walls of the alveoli are thin and moist and has a single layer of squamous epithelium. Now, inside the alveolus, the walls are lined with a thin layer of moisture, which is mucus. On the outside, it's surrounded by a network of blood capillaries for efficient transport. So the movement of the ribs and the diaphragm and intercostal muscles, the intercostal muscles are the muscles between the ribs, they increase and decrease the volume and pressure in the lungs. Now the lungs are well protected by a double membrane which is called the pleural with and it's filled with a fluid between it. Now ribs play an important role in the protection of lungs.